don't like disorder in my room.
That Superman shit somewhere else.
The story opens with Jonathan Shale, a skilled mercenary and former military operative. After wrapping up a mission with his elite team, they uncover a disturbing truth: the operation was illegal. As a result, the entire team is discharged, stripped of their duties, and removed from command. After the team disbanded, its members went their separate ways. Now unemployed, Shale returned to Miami to rest and consider his next steps. The focus then shifts to the lively city, where Jane Hetzko, a passionate high school teacher, is seen in the classroom, fully committed to helping her students in what appears to be a calm, supportive setting. The calm atmosphere is abruptly shattered when chaos erupts on campus. A violent brawl breaks out among the students, but it's clear this isn't just a random scuffle. It's a calculated ambush targeting a specific student. Undeterred by the danger, Jane and Mr. Sherman rush in, determined to break up the fight and shield the student under attack. The rescued student, afraid of appearing weak, insists he didn't need help. Jane then turns her attention to Juan Lucas, the instigator and leader of the feared gang known as the Kings of Destruction, KOD. Speaking with a mix of firmness and compassion, she addresses him like a concerned mother, urging him to consider his future and make better choices. Jane approaches Juan with sincere concern, urging him to consider his future and make better choices. But he responds with hostility, mocking and threatening her to back off. Shaken, Jane and Mr. Sherman promptly report the incident to Principal Claude Roll. Jane and Mr. Sherman urge Principal Roll to act against Juan and his gang after Jane reveals she was threatened. But the principal dismisses them, citing lack of evidence. Frustrated, Jane storms out, vowing to find proof. After school, she's ambushed by KOD members near her car, which has been sealed shut with gum. The gang mocks and harasses Jane as she struggles with her car. Juan taunts her, but she fires back with a defiant gesture. She finally unlocks the door and drives off, ignoring their insults. Back home, Jane is relieved to find Shale waiting for her. They embrace, grateful to be together again. Shale shares that he's been discharged from the military, and they talk about what comes next. Soon after, he receives a voicemail from a former teammate offering a potential job. They plan to meet at a strip club to go over the details. Joey, a trusted teammate, urges Shale to consider the job and introduces him to a potential client along with a rival, John Janis, who would later try to kill him. Shale soon realizes the work involves protecting drug shipments from gangs and government agents. Unwilling to compromise his principles, he refuses the offer, making it clear he's a soldier, not a mercenary. The next morning, while jogging near the beach, Jane was ambushed by a KOD gang member who brutally attacked her, breaking her knee. Luckily, Shale was nearby, heard the struggle, and intervened, forcing the attacker to flee. He rushed Jane to the hospital. While recovering, Jane confided her belief that the assault was planned and likely linked to someone at the school. She asked Shale to cover for her during her absence. Shale vowed to protect Jane and find out who was behind the attack. While she recovered, he offered to take over her teaching duties as a cover to investigate. With help from his team, he planned to infiltrate the school under a false identity, keeping his connection to Jane's secret. Using the alias James Smith, Shale applied for a teaching position and was soon called in for an interview. During the interview, the principal was welcoming and explained that Smith would begin on a probationary basis. Smith assured him he would do his best to fill in for Jane. Though calm and professional on the surface, Smith stayed focused on his real mission: finding Jane's attacker and exposing the corruption within the school. On his first day, Smith walked into a loud, disorderly classroom, but remained composed. He introduced himself and began taking attendance, quickly noting the students' apathy and the lack of discipline. Later, in the teacher's lounge, he reconnected with Mr. Sherman and met the school librarian, Hannah Dylan. During their brief conversation, Sherman quietly warned him that the KOD gang held a dangerous, behind-the-scenes influence over the school. Hannah confided her belief that the KOD gang was responsible for Jane's attack and identified Juan Lucas as their leader. She even suggested that Principal Roll might be working with them. While Sherman defended Roll, insisting that, as a former police officer, he wouldn't cross ethical lines, Smith remained skeptical. In a private conversation with Roll, Smith noticed subtle red flags like an expensive gold watch that seemed out of place for a school principal's salary. Their conversation became a subtle battle of wits, with each probing the other through guarded words. When Smith mentioned the watch, Roll deflected, claiming it was a gift from the junior league and asserting his control over the school. He hinted that power outweighed justice, leaving Smith more suspicious than ever. Smith reached out to his former military team and proposed a covert plan to install cameras around the school to monitor KOD activity and gather evidence. Though initially hesitant, most of the team agreed to assist. The next day, while teaching about the Vietnam War, Smith caught a crushed soda can thrown by a student named Tai and calmly tossed it back, hitting him in the forehead. Shocked, Tay charged at him, but Smith swiftly subdued him. Noticing another student, Rodriguez, with a sharp tool, Smith calmly approached and demanded he hand it over when he refused. Smith twisted Rodriguez's fingers, forcing him to drop the weapon and sending a clear message he wasn't someone to mess with. The class fell silent, and as Smith resumed teaching, he gradually earned their respect. Tay and Rodriguez reported the incident to Principal Roll, who sent security officer Marvin to investigate. But Marvin found the class calm and focused, with students paying attention. He reported back, leaving Roll surprised and delaying any disciplinary action until the class was over. During the lesson, Lacasse, the KOD gang leader, tried to provoke Smith with a subtle threat, but Smith stayed calm and unshaken. At the end of the day, Smith reviewed footage from the hidden cameras Skids had installed and saw Principal Claude Roll approaching his classroom. Acting fast, Smith made everything look routine. When Roll arrived, he warned that some students were planning to file a complaint and advised Smith to apologize to avoid termination. Confident in his knowledge of the law, Smith reminded Roll that firing a teacher required proper procedures and at least 2 weeks' notice. His calm, assertive response unsettled Roll. Growing suspicious, Roll ordered a background check but found only the false record Smith's team had planted to hide his true identity. Later, Smith drove Jane home. Once inside, she found a heartfelt letter from several students thanking her and expressing concern for her well-being. Touched by their words, Jane broke down in tears. Smith tried to comfort her, but the emotional weight of the moment sparked a brief argument between them. Despite the tension, their care for each other remained strong, and their commitment to their shared mission never wavered. The next morning, Smith returned to class. Juan and his crew showed up late to provoke him, but Smith stayed calm and made Juan write an apology on the board 100 times. Knowing open defiance would only escalate things, Juan reluctantly obeyed. Juan agreed but made a veiled threat. Unshaken, Smith diffused the tension by starting a thoughtful discussion, beginning with a question for a student named Jerome. Smith asked about their future, goals, and the impact of their choices, slowly drawing the class in. As defensiveness faded, the students saw he was pushing them to think beyond street life. The talk grew emotional, forcing them to face reality. After class, Roll praised Smith for handling Juan without violence and invited him to his office after the faculty meeting. But secretly, he was plotting with Juan Lacasse to have Smith assassinated, convinced it was time to eliminate him for good. But Smith was prepared. Watching the meeting through surveillance, he geared up with a bulletproof vest and took position in the library. That night, when Juan and Roll's armed thugs stormed in, Smith used his military training to take them down one by one.
All right, that's good enough. Freeze right there.
After Smith took down Juan, a gang member grabbed his gun and shot him. Believing he was dead, they turned to kill the librarian, but Smith rose, took out the shooter, and hurled him out the window, leaving Juan shocked by his resilience. Outside, Roll ran into a calm and composed Smith as he left the building. Flustered, Roll tried to mask his panic while Smith casually asked about the meeting. Caught off guard, Roll gave a vague reply and walked away, both hiding what they knew. Elsewhere, Mr. Sherman visited Jane to offer comfort. As they talked, he began to suspect that Smith was actually Shale Jane's husband and a former veteran. With each clue, the truth became clearer. Meanwhile, Joey kept tabs on the KOD gang, especially Juan Lucas, and left Smith a message with his location. That evening, they swapped vehicles to stay under the radar. When Smith got home, a shaken Jane confronted him. She had learned his true identity from Sherman, and now understood why he was really at the school. Smith didn't deny it and opened up, explaining his mission to expose Roll's ties to the KOD gang and protect the students. The team kept tracking KOD. One day, Joey called Smith to the docks, suspecting a major drug deal. They spotted KOD negotiating with buyers, and once confirmed, launched a surprise attack. Smith took on the gang, while Joey targeted the buyers on the boat. Amid the chaos, Holland, once against the mission, ordered Bull to stop Smith. A brutal fight followed, but Smith won. Impressed by his resolve, the others switched sides. Together, they seized the drug money and dumped the rest into the sea. The next morning, Roll saw the drug bust on the news. Shocked, he got a threatening call from the drug kingpin demanding compensation. Panicked, he rushed to school to confront Juan, only to realize Smith was behind it all. Smith openly announced that the seized money was used to improve the school and buy free pizza for students. Just then, Roll stormed in and fired him. Despite this, Smith gained strong support from the students and Mr. Sherman, who offered to help, though Smith warned him to stay cautious, suspecting Roll was working with the enemy. Though loyal to Roll, Sherman struggled to believe he was guilty. That night, desperate KOD members and their corrupt allies launched another violent attack on Smith. As Smith's undercover work exposed illegal activities, he became a target. Despite being shot at and rammed into a house, he survived using his reflexes and military training. Meanwhile, Mr. Sherman tried to expose drug trafficking in the school's basement, but he was ambushed by Juan, Tallis, and Principal Roll, secretly part of the operation, and was tragically killed.
Fuck you, Roland.
A student witness gave key info to Smith and the authorities. By morning, news spread fast. To cover his tracks, the corrupt principal, aligned with KOD, spread false rumors that Smith was dead, leaving the school in fear and mourning. Everyone was stunned when Smith returned alive. His reappearance shook the gang and made it clear the corrupt wouldn't win easily. As tensions rose, Smith confronted Wolson, a secret KOD ally, exposing deep corruption within the school's leadership. Meanwhile, KOD retaliated by attacking Jane's house, shattering windows and shouting threats to intimidate her. At the same time, a student who witnessed Mr. Sherman's murder decided to come forward. She and a friend went to Smith's house to share the truth. Juan took the students hostage, waiting for Smith. Unaware he was actually Shale, the gang let him in. After a brief fight, they overpowered him. Juan then called his boss, revealing Smith and Shale were the same. Upon learning the truth, the boss ordered Smith's execution. The gang's ruthless response showed they'd do anything to stay in control and silence opposition. Just as Juan was about to pull the trigger, the doorbell rang. It was the landlady. While Jane tried to send her away, Shale took the chance to stab a guard and quickly took down most of the gang. But before Shale could save Jane, Juan held her at gunpoint, forcing him to surrender. Just then, A student shot Juan, saving him. With the chaos over, Smith turned his attention to Claude Roll, the mastermind behind it all, setting the stage for the final showdown. At the school, Smith and his allies geared up for a final battle to take back the campus from KOD. A brutal fight broke out, turning classrooms into battlegrounds, with heavy casualties and clear evidence of the gang's devastating impact. Despite heavy losses, Smith's team fought with skill and resolve, taking down key KOD members and weakening their hold. Some allies made the ultimate sacrifice. One was shot in the head, another detonated himself to stop a group of enemies in a desperate moment. Amid the chaos, Roll emerged from hiding and shot Holland from behind, then lay in wait to ambush Smith. Moving carefully, Smith cut the lights before revealing himself. A brutal fight broke out. Claude, now furious and desperate, clashed with Smith, who landed precise strikes but was shot in the shoulder. Holland, still alive, took down the shooter. With only Smith and Claude left, they faced off in a final showdown. Claude grabbed a gun and demanded to know Smith's motives. Smith simply replied, "Some things can't be taught," before striking the final blow and ending Claude's life. Shale left the school and found Joey wounded but alive. In the end, only they survived the battle. With the gang dismantled and the corrupt removed, the school slowly began to heal as students and teachers reclaimed a safe place to learn.